Call the meeting to order and start with the roll call.
Leaders,
Here.
Silkworth,
Here.
Schultz,
Here.
Chapman.
Here.
Brett Larson did notify us that he is sick today.
It's still showing red, just so you know.
So not recording.
Oh yeah, it's just recording, right?
If it's working fine, I just know that it's still red, so.
Yeah, whoever had the last meeting left that in closed mode. It's a toggle. It's not automated.
No, no worries. Just making sure.
Okay, first thing we have on the agenda is our minutes from our last meeting.
Motion to approve.
Second,
that.
the motion, second, any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. And we will go into public hearing. Is there a motion to go to public hearing?
I'll make a motion to go in public hearing.
Second.
Second. Favor, does that roll call or just go out aye on the?
Just aye.
All right, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carried. All right, before we go into this, I'm gonna read statement. Okay, the public hearings will be conducted pursuant to Commission's rules of procedure. We will first hear the report of planning director on the detailed information and observations regarding the request before the commission, if not done so in writing form prior to the hearing. Next, we'll take the testimony of the applicant and his or her witnesses. Upon completion of the applicant's testimony, I will call upon the members of the audience wishing to be heard concerning the request. Persons in favor of the request shall be heard first, followed by those opposed to it. At any time during the presentation of testimony, the members of the commission may interrupt and ask questions or make comments on what has been said. Upon completion of all testimony, the applicant will be allowed to make a closing statement to the commission. Upon the completion of the applicant's closing statement, I will entertain a motion from the commission to close public hearing on the request. The commission reserves the right to ask any questions of any member of the audience. However, we will not hear any unsolicited statements unless the public hearing is first opened. Each speaker addressing the commission shall step forward to the podium and state their name and address before proceeding with their testimony or evidence. The commission shall not be bound by strict rules of evidence, but does reserve the right to exclude evidence or testimony that it may deem to be irrelevant, immaterial, incompetent, or unduly repetitious. As chairman, I will rule on all questions relating to the admissibility of evidence, which may be overruled by a majority of this commission. Continuances may be granted by the commission in case for good cause shown to any interested party who has entered their appearance. The commission may request a continuance of a hearing for the purpose of giving further notice, taking further evidence, gathering further information, touring a proposed site, or for such reasons as the commission may find sufficient. In such case, we shall state the specific reasons for continuance and set a date, time, and place when the matter will be continued. All official actions of this commission will be made at a public meeting by a motion made, seconded, and polling of the membership. If conditions are imposed, such conditions shall be included in the motion or amendment thereto. Our final decision will be prepared in writing and will be part of the public record of this commission. Matt, I'll hand it to you.
So in this one, I would ask that the commission table our first case, MIS 2025-01. We're gonna move the nuclear to different time frame once we can have some more review time with it.
Move to table.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second that.
Or we do that when we come out of public hearing?
No, you can do that now.
You can- Okay. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried.
Then you do need a motion to open up case number ZTA 2025-01.
I'll move that.
Okay, good motion. Is there a second?
So second.
Second. Okay, discussion? So, I mean, the main,
All in favor, say aye.
oh, sorry, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carried. My apologies.
So this is a zoning text amendment for our zoning chapters, chapter 8 of the Pottawattamie County Code. On here, in your original packet, we had battery energy storage systems. This would be criteria for battery energy storage systems and also criteria for nuclear energy generating facilities. Currently, we're going to scrap the nuclear energy portion of this, and we're just going to focus on the battery energy storage systems. And we've updated your packet with that sheet. This is what the ordinance would be that goes to the Board of Supervisors. If you haven't ever seen one of these before. So we modeled this ordinance almost directly off of what our solar ordinance looks like and reads down through it, shifting it over to battery energy storage systems on there. It would still be, so this would list it as a conditional use in our A2 district, A3 district, R1, C1, C2, C3, I1, and I2 districts on there. It does limit the height of the buildings, 50 feet in height. On our setbacks of theirs, where the first modification came in from your packet to what we have presented here for you tonight. And this is that best equipment, including all accessory structures, would be set back a minimum of 500 feet from all property lines, road right-of-way lines, and comply with NFPA 855 requirements related to setbacks and buffers, whichever is greater. All setbacks and buffer requirements dictated by NFPA 855 shall be followed and adhered to. No setback is required between participating lots. So if they happen to own two lots and they're going to construct it, what we would do ahead of time, more than likely, is have them join those parcels by deed. So then that way there's no center divider line there for them.
Can you tell me what NFPA means?
National Fire Prevention Act.
There you go. Something like that. Yeah,
They
association.
do all the fire codes.
Right.
Basically
Fire,
everything.
okay.
So when the engineers go to design these out, they always go back to your NFPA. They'll go back between what your codes are for zoning. They'll go to what the building codes are, and then they'll check those NFPA standards along with the
ASTM.
ASTMs as well.
Back from that meeting last week.
Yeah, so they kind of combine all that for us in our code, in our plan sheets that we get from them. The submittal requirements and permitting process, again, they mirror exactly what the solar projects or the wind projects even would go through. So it first would go, it comes into our office. I then notify the department approval committee, and that's representatives from the county board, myself, along with conservation, engineering, and the sheriff's office. And we all sign off on it before it's allowed to go to the zoning board of adjustment for conditional use permit review and approval on there. They also would have to have the road use agreement with it. That's signed. That's a negotiation between the county engineer's office and the developer of the project. Usually a survey of the roads gets done ahead of time to assess what the conditions are. And then the county, more than likely, would maintain those roads at that condition during the project and charge back to the developer. But it can be to where the developer does the work on the roads and that's the negotiation between them, however they feel comfortable doing it. We've done it both ways with Mid-Am. The first time we go around with the wind projects went in, Mid-Am handled the roads. It did not go so well. So then second go around, the county handled the roads and billed Mid-Am back, and it went much better. I think everybody's happier with that process. Soil erosion and sediment control follow our chapter 10.15 grading and excavation. Landscape buffer requirements, that would be in there with it. Lighting and sound, again, all still mirroring what we have with our solar, utility connections, outdoor storage, endangered species, making sure that that's all applied. The waste generated from it, maintenance and repair of the facilities, stormwater management. The next big change that we get into is under number 17 and the modification from your packet. And this comes to us from Almakee County is where we took section E that's highlighted for you about having a fire safety compliance plan, because that's really one of our biggest concerns with one of these facilities would be the fire hazard with these lithium batteries. We're operating off of rural fire departments, volunteer rural fire departments, right? And they're not the best ever, I think even that system's gonna undergo some changes, but making sure that the applicant document and describe how the fire safety system and its associated controls will be functioned and maintained in proper working order. The applicant is responsible for ensuring that firefighters of the designated area are site specifically trained and equipped. So this is putting it back on the developer that they're gonna have to equip these rural fire departments if they're not already so
Does
done.
it take, does it take special equipment?
I imagine
I
that,
don't know.
yeah, and
I know when lithium batteries blow up, or whatever, you drop them and hit them wrong and they can,
There's special like firefighting phones and stuff they have to
Yeah.
have,
Mhm.
AR/FFF and all that kind of things. But
And it's in accordance with the current NFPA. Number two is that the applicant will have one meeting annually or as needed with local fire departments, Pottawattamie County Sheriff's Office, Pottawattamie County Emergency Management to go over updates related to their emergency situation, preparedness and procedures, and any changes to their operations and maintenance manuals and emergency operations. So that aspect of it would be tracked through EMA. They have systems in place that they would reach out and schedule those meetings, probably have them either on site or at the EMA office to go through. One of the questions that got brought up, what happens if the local fire departments don't show up to that meeting? We can't force them into it. The only thing we could do is make sure that it's being offered at a time that is acceptable to them and make sure we encourage the attendance to them to be
I
there.
don't think that's gonna be an issue.
I don't think it would be for the first couple. I think, afterwards it might get a little repetitive to them, but I would hope that they would
Typically,
still.
sites will, like give grants and, those kinds of things. So it's usually in the best interest of the fire departments to want to show up anyway.
Right.
It's no different than some of these other businesses that do this too. The ethanol plant does the same thing. They file all their chemical safety and all their, their emergency action plan, all that goes through EMA and, Doug and those guys do a good job of staying up on that. When they don't, they make phone calls down there to find out what's going on. So it's pretty rubber stamped, in my opinion.
Number F is the emergency operations plan. A copy of the approved emergency operations plan shall be given to the system owner, the fire departments, Pottawattamie County Sheriff's Office, Pottawattamie County Emergency Management. A copy should also be placed in an approved location on site to be accessible by facility personnel, fire code officials, and emergency responders. The emergency operations plan shall include the following information: procedures for a safe shutdown, de-energizing, or isolation of equipment and systems under emergency conditions to reduce the risk of fire, electric shock, and personal injuries, and for the safe startup following the cessation of emergency conditions. Number two is for procedures for inspection and testing of the associated alarms and interlocks. Number three, procedures to be followed in response to alerts from the battery storage or battery energy storage. Number four is a management system that could signify potentially dangerous conditions, including shutting down equipment, summoning service or repair personnel, and providing agreed upon notification to the fire department personnel for potentially hazardous conditions in the event of a system failure.
So you mentioned that lithium batteries are stored here. Who else besides wind or solar needs a BESS? Who
It
uses
seems
the
like they're
BESS?
paired with those style of projects.
Yeah.
Like large manufacturing facilities that produce their own energy on site will have these type of systems in there. Maybe not exactly best, but something like it. So for example, like ethanol facilities right now, they're looking at converting a lot of their power energy, their heat system, into battery storage. So like you'll run some turbine on site and then that power can't necessarily just go straight to the grid. So they put it in these battery systems so that either it gets used on site or fed back to the grid, and they sell it, the power purchase agreement sells it back to the power company. So I don't think there's tons of interest in it, but I mean, I think these larger manufacturers, it's certainly a possibility to have those. I mean, even you got these data centers going up. I mean, there's potential there too, that they could use systems like these. So, and we're prime, you know, Iowa's a prime candidate for those types of systems, you know, so that's why Google locates here and I can't imagine that's gonna be the last of it either. It's probably gonna be
And
more.
I shouldn't say, the reason why there's a lot of interest in batteries right now too is, so when the big beautiful bill came out and they rolled back all the tax credits on solar and they rolled back all the tax credits on wind, they left the tax credits for batteries. So that is more than likely what's inspiring a lot of them to try to pair them up now with their projects that they have there. Number 4 goes back to where, again, it's mirroring exactly what is in our solar ordinance already for the roads, identification of potential roads, documentation of the road conditions, road preparation and damage, financial surety that has to be done, decommissioning and reclamation plan.
So, just a question for you. So let's just say a company wants to put one of these systems in. I'm guessing they're gonna contact one of the economic development authorities and say, hey, we got this whiz bang system we want to put in for solar, wind, whatever. Do they start reviewing those sites and then bring that to you to say, hey, we need to look at maybe rezoning this piece of property to put it there? Because with 500 feet setback,
It can happen that way, yes.
it's not very easy to have a 500-foot setback, a lot of property owner in our county, right?
Right.
I mean, this is semi-restrictive, I guess, in my opinion, but whether it's good or bad, I don't know, but it's just, what, was the 500 feet in a PA that made that suggestion, or was that something that?
No, I looked at, so I had it down there as originally like our solar, which is 13, it was 1320 something. And I'm like, well, 1320 is a really long ways. I'm like, let's drop it down to 500 feet and
Okay.
kind of go from there. The other counties that I saw were 75 feet, 50 feet.
I mean, these aren't like crazy big eyesore, you know, necessarily. I mean, you might have a giant wind turbine next to it, but,
Yeah, do they overlap with the same use area as solar and wind? I mean, it would be
Right.
likely on the same parcel?
Yeah, we didn't change any of those things in there. We put it right with those same ones.
I mean, and you're talking like little utility looking buildings, right, that these things would be inside of?
Yeah, it could look almost like rows of, and I'll say shipping containers, they wouldn't be shipping
Yeah.
containers, right? But almost like rows of shipping containers set up with then, U-shaped things kind of going in between them, tying them all together. And then there's big, there's fans, things
Do
like
they
that.
get hot?
Mhm.
Yeah. I believe I've seen some of them. Remember where, somewhere in Iowa when I was traveling this past summer. I saw those and wondered what they were and
And it could have been maybe what you saw too, is I haven't necessarily heard of any of them being construction area yet, but you might have saw those Bitcoin mining operations set up that look similar to that with stacks of what would look like shipping containers with
Right.
large fans on them.
big fans, yeah.
Yeah, those are Bitcoin mining operations that
Okay.
they've gone around and set up next to substations because they do demand a lot of power. They're almost like little mini data centers that are
Right.
just there to go after Bitcoins. Private investors have done it. They tried to do a couple in Pot County. Our areas didn't work out for them. Just zoning wise, we didn't have anything that would work. There's one up by Shelby County, right in that area, right across from the Menards. Actually, it's in Shelby because they
Yeah,
annexed it in.
Okay.
There's that substation just south of that Menards building that they put one there. They're noisy. You get a lot of
Yeah.
complaints from them. Yeah,
Are these gonna be noisy too, or are these?
not from what I've seen on them. They're not like those Bitcoin mining operations, no.
And then the other question I have is on NFPA. So you quoted 855 as the standard. Now, NFPA are basically just standards, guidelines that are out there, and then federal agencies and state agencies typically adopt those standards and make them into part of the ordinance. So who's the enforcement on that? Is that gonna be the county? So if they are not following NFPA 855, who's gonna go and hold them accountable?
On the construction aspect of it, it would be on us. to do that. When it goes to the safety and operations of it, then that would really fall on EMA and the sheriff's office and everybody just help hold them to that standard in those meetings.
Okay.
Can these things, I don't know anything about them, can they leak? I mean, besides the fire hazard, can they leak anything out of the buildings if they malfunction, like that kind of thing?
I think if there were anything that could leak, it's more than likely got enough spill protection around it that it's nothing that's getting out of it. You know, I think the main concern really is that fire aspect of it, especially in the, you know, if you look at, so if Google were to do this one, I mean, it's in town. Any of these data centers around here are within inside city limits, Council Bluffs. The response time is much less for fire to get there. They have fire, they have, you know, whatever kind of fire system they need there on site. Our locations for them will be a little bit different because they're going to be remote sites. They'll be out there by the wind farms. They'll be out there by a solar project where ours would be located at. So it's a little bit different. I think it is going to be tough for them to wind up construction wise with the fire suppression systems because it will have to be a on-site fire suppression system. I mean, rural water's not going to give them enough to produce enough foam to do anything like that. So it's going to be storage tanks, those kind of dry fire systems that were to be installed. And they're not only expensive to install first off, then they're expensive to maintain afterwards. So it would have to be a real big financial decision for them and if it actually
There's
hit.
tax credits out there. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not as expensive. So,
Here's
later
a
on.
picture.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
There you go. Okay.
Looks like a military base.
It looks like a munitions, you know,
Yeah.
if one blows up, they all don't blow up.
You'd hope not.
Is that why, is
Those-
that why they're
I mean, the lithium bat-
separated?
If you see those, if you ever look up a fire of a lithium battery.
Oh,
like-
yeah, they're intense.
Yeah, they're intense.
Yeah.
I mean, and they go for days. It's not just. So really, I mean, if it one went up to into flames, I mean, on a rural side, you basically stand back and protect the perimeter because what's gonna burn on the inside is gonna burn.
So the noise thing is an interesting thing. You have 40 decibels at somebody's home rather than their property line. Do you have language like that elsewhere when you regulate noise?
We
Is that the same?
Yeah, you
Kind of
where you
thing.
stand like 2 to 10 feet off of the wall of the house because you're trying to hit that echo aspect of it. I don't know if you recall or not, but when we were originally going through with the wind piece of it, they brought in that noise expert from the prestigious university to sit here and give us a big spiel on how all of that happens.
Yeah,
But yes, we do have that written like that.
that assumes that people care about noise inside their house or at their house, but not outside. And I just think about, you know, being outside. At 40 decibels is not loud, but it's, not. But you can probably hear it, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and in a rural location, I don't know, it would have to be pretty loud for 500 feet buffer. You know, that there'd be quite a bit of noise.
Plus landscaping.
Plus
What's your landscape requirement?
Well,
Do they have to have, you say buffer, I mean, talking like rows of trees and all that kind of stuff or?
Right.
berms?
So the determination of screening requirements will be made by the approving authority as a part of the review of the conditional use permit.
Oh, so the board can tell.
So that, yeah, they're gonna propose what they would be, and then we can make adjustments to that. If we see that they're like, hey, we're gonna plant a bunch of red cedars or something like that, we can say, no, we want you to plant these type of things. And
plant material doesn't usually do much for sound. Earth mass does, and, you know, concrete walls and stuff do sound, but plant material doesn't. And that's coming from a landscape architect.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing that, these things serve a purpose. I mean, it's not like I
Yeah.
just want to put them there to be evil people, you know, like they're obviously make money and the tax credit that's there brings money to our state. So I mean, part of the economic development, I think it's important that we have this ordinance so that we're not just making it up on the fly when they do show up. So I think it's good that we've done that.
Yeah, well, I would agree, and I think that it's important for us to be supportive of clean energy ordinances so that we can take advantage of forward-thinking people to change our energy use from coal. So I'm supportive. I just want to make sure that, you know, when these things come into being, that we're not wishing we'd put some more regulations on because they're really too noisy or too ugly or not quite located correctly.
I still think the 500, I mean, even
That's
at 500
fine.
feet, it's gonna be tough to find property to even do that.
Yeah.
I'm curious, like, where you even would, you know?
You're gonna have to buy a whole farm.
Groby's Farm or something? I mean,
Yeah.
that's really, I don't know where else you'd do it.
Well, I kind of see, I would think that if they go to construct one of these, with all in association with one of those projects, most of all those things are done on leased land. And that's why the decommissioning portion of these are so important, because I think that this would be constructed on leased land. So they'd more likely just run a drive up through and or bank off of a drive that's there for a windmill already and say, you know, this is where we'll put it at.
Mhm. I mean, it could fit between windmills, right?
But solar's all done on leased land, wind's all done on leased land.
Yeah.
I mean, the benefit really to us is that power generation and then the tax base that it brings. I mean, they bring in good tax revenues.
Mhm.
And this would be another specialty of a job that we don't have here. I'm sure we would have more. I mean, it's gonna create some sort of jobs.
Is there any other discussion we wanna have on this?
My questions were answered.
We need to close the public hearing.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
motion. Is there a second?
Second?
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Public hearing is closed.
Do we need a motion to move it on to, the Board of Supervisors? Is
Yes,
that what we
please.
do?
As written.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'll go ahead and make that motion and, move it on to the Board of Supervisors as written.
Second that.
Okay, motion second, any discussion? I just, you know, thanks for putting this together. It's helpful. And you know, I do think these things are important because when you're sitting in the board seat and all of a sudden, you know, an idea comes to play and we don't have it, you know, and I'll reference the chicken ordinance, for example. Like we really didn't have a good plan for that. And so it really was difficult timing. So, I mean, having this stuff ahead of time makes it a lot easier to kind of navigate. Makes the discussion with the people proposing the projects a lot easier too. So thank you for putting this stuff together. And with that, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion carried.
No other business for tonight? Unless you have some, Pam? Do you have anything?
Get a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion,
Second.
second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, we are adjourned.